Right, everyone, welcome to Miami qualifying. I'm still like, after that sprint race, where really not a lot happened, if we're honest. Let me sort this out. Chai with the updates already. Update, Kimi received, yeah, apart from Kimi getting a penalty after the race for track limit, which we were talking about, that's just really amateur. That's not world champion level behaviour. So he did get that penalty. Verstappen issues with the boost. And Bortoleto taken out the sprint race results due to technical issues. So neither Audi finishing. Not fantastic for Audi. Welcome again, Eric Von Eric. Always also here super early. Welcome, Martin Hampson, as well. I hope you're well. Let's hope qualifying is going to be a bit more interesting now the race weekend starts proper. See, I don't think that was a good advertisement for a sprint race necessarily. Would it have been better to have the traditional build up to the weekend with FP1, FP2, FP3? Because if we were, then this would be our first time we'd be seeing the cars actually racing for meaningful stuff right now, driving for meaningful stuff. Welcome back as well. Bortoleto finished Saturday's event in 11th position, but has now been excluded from results over an engine intake air pressure violation. Interesting. Maybe Audi changed something after what happened with Hulkenberg's car, but that's just me purely speculating. KK says, my sister's at the race. Very nice. Who is she there supporting? Who is she supporting? And apparently Alfonso was just driving way too quick. He wasn't meant to be driving that quick. He was meant to be taking it easy. Yeah, here we go with qualifying then. If we see McLaren's on top here, then dare I say, are we looking at McLaren domination this season? As weird as it sounds. She doesn't know that much about F1. My brother-in-law gave her a ticket for today. Well, I'm sure she's going to come back a massive F1 fan. Which is great. Oh, Charles got the specific article there, 5.3.2. Is that to do with turbo? Overpressuring? Welcome back to the Don as well. Good to see you. Let me get these likes working. Bear with me. Oh, you were there yesterday and your brother's going tomorrow, so your whole family's got tickets. Amazing. How was it for a sprint qualifying yesterday? An FP1? What was the vibe like at the circuit? That's pretty cool, getting tickets for the whole weekend and sharing them around. I do like that. That's awesome. Yeah, I wonder if it's turbo stuff. Are you in the VIP? Were you in the marina? Did you go on the yachts? Let us know if you've been on those yachts. The beach? Is the beach bit in front of the yachts? How does that work? I wasn't aware there was a beach bit. Ah, now it's correct. Okay. A little bit disappointed by the Hasses here. Let's see if the Alpines can keep their position. It's far for them. I was at the Red Bull area. Okay, which team was most supported yesterday by the American fans? And how supported is Cadillac? Is Cadillac like absolutely massive? I'm quite interested to know. Williams as well. Like, what is going on with Williams? I mean, surely Carlos Sainz is going to end up leaving Williams at this rate. It's not really acceptable in terms of what he was promised. In the VIP, it was Ferrari and Red Bull. I can see Ferrari everywhere you go. Red Bull's interesting because they're no longer the champions. They're not looking fantastic this season. But maybe... And also, they're not like a super luxury brand, I would say. I don't know if that's an unfair thing to say, but that's kind of how I perceive it. But interesting to know. We should test that on other rounds this season as well. And see which countries you have the most popular teams. What about Haas? Like, is it cool to support Haas if, like, you're in the US? Who's my favourite team? I don't really have a favourite team per se. I am wearing a McLaren top today, though. So I've got the McLaren top on. Chai says, I wonder how long it will be before Sainz leaves Williams. Yeah, he was not happy yesterday. He was, dare I say, just telling it how it was yesterday over the radio. A little bit raw. A little bit raw. So... I don't think Williams would have been too happy with Carlos Sainz like that. But he was just saying some home truths, to be honest. That's the way I saw it. So 19 minutes to go till qualifying. Are we expecting anything other than a McLaren lockout here? Or are the Mercedes going to get it together? What about Ferrari? Ferrari kind of fell off, really, I would say, in that race as well. Hamilton fell off Verstappen. I think at the end it seemed like Piastri was managing something, so he did fall back at the end. But yeah, it's not like Ferrari were on the front foot in the race. Well, yeah, he's speaking very frank. I think he was speaking with a mind that he knows it's going to be picked up by the media, if you get what I mean. So it's a very interesting signal there from Carlos Sainz. You know, arguably positioning himself. Saying, you know, if anyone's looking at the results that he's getting in that Williams, he's trying to say it's not me, it's the Williams. I don't have an update on Hulkenberg and Lindblad, actually. If I get visuals, I'll let you know. But I don't actually know what happened with Lindblad's car. Not that I think him being in the sprint would have made too much difference, unfortunately. And Liam Lawson was absolutely languishing back down there. But yeah, just, I don't know. Unless, I mean, so the teams have come here with big upgrades. They haven't had enough free practice to really explore them. They have had a sprint qualifying, which is, you know, is a qualifying session. But they have now had the sprint race where they should understand their upgrades a lot better. And I wonder if there's some final tweaks on setup that have and can be made that might make a difference for qualifying here. Or are we going to see a very similar rundown to what we saw in sprint qualifying? Just don't know yet. Welcome, BCR Esports. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Will the Red Bulls have... Or has someone's... No, you wouldn't sandbag this entire sprint race, would you? I mean, there's a lot of positivity coming out of the Red Bull camp. What if Red Bull take another step closer here? Primarily on setup, because Max was complaining about difficulty under braking. I'm interested. I'm interested to see what happens. I'm expecting McLaren's to be very fast. But it could still be the case that Ferrari or Red Bull make an improvement, in my opinion. Potentially. Or will Mercedes just lock this out? Like they've done previously. I mean, George has been making mistakes. Kimi's been making mistakes. I don't think anyone would say that Mercedes have the strongest driver lineup in Formula 1. BCO got the new Formula V3. Very nice. Hopefully use my link if I've got one for that. It's a really nicely balanced wheel in my opinion. Just feels like something you're going to use for many years. That makes sense. Well, I know that Fernando Alfonso was complaining yesterday about his hands, and I understood he'd been asked today not to like go at full pace in the sprint, but he went full pace anyway. He just ignored the instructions like an absolute G. Checking an onboard with Kimi and Lando, it seems like a comparison. It looks like the McLaren just has a load more downforce or cornering grip than the Mercedes from what I can see. So would it be a surprise if McLaren have a better aero package than Mercedes? Not really, going by the last few years, to be honest. Not really. So therefore, if McLaren have got that Mercedes engine working, which does seem to be the most dominant engine, and McLaren front row lockout seems to be the most logical expectation, I would say, from qualifying today. It's not like there's a different engine in between the McLaren and the Mercedes. Alfonso being the experienced driver and therefore knows exactly what he can do or shouldn't do, yeah. Maybe he was just listening to the instructions, nodding his head, then went in the car and did exactly what he thought he should do. And the McLaren's looking very good. And Lando seems to be driving extremely well. It's funny how not sure Lando's got many credits for winning the sprint race, but he should do. He should get a ton of credit for winning the sprint race. And breaking this Mercedes AMG domination. It's almost like people expect Lando to do well and just are disappointed when he doesn't. Down the long straight doesn't seem to be too much. Oh, so the Mercedes AMG seems to be a bit better on the super clipping than the McLaren. But other than that, the acceleration of the McLaren and the cornering grip seems to be higher than the Mercedes. Also, a little bit if I was looking at qualifying laps, a little bit savvy by Lando, taking a shorter route over the line to get the lowest lap time possible, which is quite smart. "12 minutes to go till qualifying," unless I've got it wrong. Can Lewis get close to Leclerc? Because if he can't, at some point we've got to start asking questions, I reckon. To be fair, I think... Is it fair to say Charles has felt better than Lewis in the Ferrari for a long time now? In which case, why exactly do you need Lewis Hamilton as your new number 2 driver? Is it not just better to have like Behrman? I guess Ferrari can afford whoever they want. I guess. Can they? The question is, do they need Lewis Hamilton in that number 2? Is that just damaging for everyone's reputation? Oh my goodness, there's some coolant coming out the bottom of the Audi in the garage, I think. So maybe they're desperately trying to repair Hülkenberg's car. Welcome, Carrot 10. Or Carl 10. Maybe they're desperately trying to repair Hülkenberg's car, but it looked like there was some coolant coming out the bottom of it in the garage. Haven't been here since first race of the season. But it feels like a new season now. I'm not sure that Audi's going to be ready for the beginning of qualifying, put it like that. Hülkenberg's pacing at the back of his car. I would say Lewis is now finally back at his Mercedes level, not being so far back anymore, but actually keeping up. Let's see. Let's see what happens in qualifying in the race. Then I'll make my judgment. I feel like at the beginning of the season there was a lot of hype about Lewis, like Lewis is back, but the Ferrari just seems to be fading, so it's kind of hard to make the assessment, which is a massive shame. So it's going to be Q1 I'm going to start with. I'd expect both Cadillacs, both Astons to be out. Welcome down Loki 78. So, if I'm correct on that, and they look like actually they're finishing up work on the Audi. They're clearing up all the trays. It's amazing how that car is just jacked up by 2 tiny little stands at the front and the back, and you've got people working underneath it. Someone knocks one of those stands, you've basically killed your mate. Because those cars do... I know they're light for racing cars, but still a ton of weight in them. Ah, Chai saying Hülkenberg will not participate. Is that confirmed? Is that the Dutch live blog? Is that the Dutch live blog? Well, they were clearing tools, so I'm not sure why they're doing that if he's not going to participate, but... Kimi's putting his helmet on. McLaren's back in it. Yep. Yeah, Haas look like they haven't really taken a step forward compared to other teams, I'd say. Lando's got his headset on. Maybe he's not going to rush out for Q1. But first of all, it's going to be Q1 first. So if Hülkenberg's out, and if the Cadillacs are both going to be out, as I'd expect, and if the Astons are both out, then there's only one other driver who's going to get knocked out. So you don't want to be that driver. Ah, okay. Yeah, there was something leaking from the car. So it's another interesting consequence of the sprint weekend, which is that Hülkenberg on his way to the sprint race has had an issue, which means that he's now not going to take part in qualifying for the real race. But not too much you can do about that. That's life, I suppose. Yeah, I don't like how YouTube changed the names, at least what I can see in chat, from like your username to like someone with a number at the end. But I've given them that feedback. I'm expecting the Alpines to do well here. Let's see if anything has changed from the sprint race and sprint quali, basically. The RBs have been pretty anonymous so far this weekend. Let's see if they can improve. And I think for the first couple of sessions, we'll be keeping an eye on eyes at the top, but those drivers at the top are not, I would assume, be going to risking everything in Q1 and Q2. Right, just 5 minutes to go. At Miami. Like I said, they've added a number recently. The usernames, a lot of people's usernames just keep seeing change for me. So I'm not sure what YouTube's trying to achieve there. Anyway. Verstappen as well. See Verstappen's engine's on. Let's see what Verstappen can do. I think everyone will be everyone at the front will be ominously looking to see how Verstappen's improving, because at the point he gets a vaguely competitive car with the Verstappen factor, you don't want to rule him out for race wins and championships. I'm not sure Hamilton has the same aura at the moment, to be honest. My feeling is that Hamilton's aura has kind of faded, which is a bit of a shame. But then it just seems Ferrari are taking half steps backwards rather than... Imagine Ferrari are taking a few steps forward here. There'll be absolutely massive hype for that. Dan likes Max and I'm a Brit. Let's do another nations check. It's like we've done so many this weekend. We're doing so many streams. Exclamation mark nations. Let us know where in the world you're watching from. 9 PM UK time. So I wonder where it's prime time. It's prime time in the UK. Chai from Netherlands. Lacquer Croatia. It's another mod front row lockout. The mods are just absolutely dominating here. I've never seen like this. Carl from Iowa, Martin, Netherlands, Dan Loki from Essex. So Netherlands are winning at the moment. It's a clear win for Netherlands. As we often see, we've seen nations check where the Netherlands have gone toe to toe with South Africa, toe to toe with the Philippines. The Netherlands is always up and around there when it comes to the sport of Formula 1, as you might expect. Zandvoort is staying on the calendar, right? Will it be crazy to take Zandvoort off the calendar? Right, people are making their way to the grandstands. I do think this is a great market for Formula 1 because people, it's a cool thing to go to. Like, these people might normally go to the American football or whatnot, or see a music concert. It's a cool thing to go to. You get your merch because you take it back and tell your friends, I went to the Formula 1. So it makes sense as a market to me. The first round will have 5 drivers out of 6. Is that just the same thing as what I said, but they're doing it? Are they doing anything different there? Oh, because he's not participating. Yeah. Okay. Shows how much we've missed the race and now hyped up for it. Yeah. Practicing nations checks in the breaks. Okay, Hamilton's in the car and ready. Hulkenberg's car is ready. Hulkenberg is in the car. So I don't know whether the Dutch live blog have got this one wrong, but Nico Hulkenberg is sat in his car. So what do we think is going on there? Hulkenberg masterclass incoming, but then the Dutch live blog is either way off here, or what's going on? What's going on here? I very rarely question the Dutch live blog because they brought us so much inside news before, but it's not lining up with what I'm seeing with my eyes and ears. I'm seeing Nico Hulkenberg in the car. Welcome, SJS. And the other Audi, Bortoletto's Audi, is on jacks. Unless Hulkenberg sensationally gone in Bortoletto's Audi. No way. That would be sensational. Has Hulkenberg commandeered Bortoletto's Audi? How does that work? Is that legal? Why would it not be legal? Hulkenberg's sat in a car. There's also an Audi on jacks. I wonder if Nico Hulkenberg has jumped into Bortoletto's Audi, which would be insane. I can't remember the last time that's happened, if so. Possible insane scenes going on here. Possible insane scenes. Possible insanity. It's showing Hulkenberg's car is revving. Did they put the transponder on Hulkenberg's on Bortoletto's car? Don makes a good point. Was it in was it Zandvoort actually or Melbourne? I can't remember, with Albon with Sargent. So yeah, it has happened. It has happened before. It has happened before. But never at this late stage. Now Hulkenberg is listed on the standings as being in the pit out. So that begs the question, what's going on with Bortoletto's car? Who did finish the race, the sprint race, but was then disqualified. See, JP Morgan are the big sponsors here. So Bortoletto is not moving at the moment. Welcome, Durbalan. Chai says that the Dutch live blog is silent on this. It's very unusual. Very, very, very unusual. Carl saying from the Audi F1 site that Bortoletto stood at the back of his garage with an ice vest on, with mechanics frantically working on something in front. Nico's car developed a technical issue on the way to the grid, an operational problem the team will now investigate. Very interesting, I have to say. But as you can see, Hulkenberg is... Where is Hulkenberg? Where is Nico Hulkenberg? On circuit. Chat, where is Nico Hulkenberg on circuit? I can't see Nico Hulkenberg on circuit. I wonder, unless I'm really missing him, but I wonder whether he has gone into the different car. Yeah. I don't see Nico Hulkenberg on map, but he is actually I have seen him leave the pit. I've seen him in the car. Right, Bottas with the first lap, 132.6, which could be as fast that, I mean, that's much faster than they're doing in the race. They were doing 135s in the race. I'm inclined to believe that's them trying as fast as they possibly can. Dutch live laws updated. It's switched Bortoleto to Hulkenberg. I think we're working out what's going on here. Lindblad 31.2. Now Hulkenberg's popped up now. Turn 14, just ahead of Alex Albon. Is that Bortoleto's car? With Nico Hulkenberg in it. Behrman 30.2, that's much more like it. But only one, well, ooh, we don't know now. We don't know because if Bortoleto's going to get out. I have a feeling that they've just prioritised Hulkenberg here. Which is tough for Bortoleto. I think a Williams might have gone wide at one point. Liam Lawson's also in the pit. He's had a very anonymous weekend, I'd say. Hulkenberg half second off. I mean, what if Hulkenberg just qualifies pretty much last anyway? Be a load of drama for nothing. Hadjar with the 129.9. Verstappen 129 dead. Next we'll see Leclerc. Is Hulkenberg 21st? Hulkenberg is 6th at the moment, 131.5. Leclerc goes second, 129.4. Audi's status message has not changed from a few minutes ago. We need the official line from Audi, really. Lando Norris, meanwhile, will go over the line and set a lap time that goes second. 29.1, just behind Max Verstappen. And I think it was Albon, was Williams that went wide. I can see a lap time being deleted by its Albon. By the way, make sure everyone to hit the like button. Absolutely destroy that like button. I'm going to move the likes here. Ugh. Let's smash it. Let's get up to 50. We can do it. There you go, Chai's got it. Piastri is going to start his lap now. As is Antonelli, as is Russell. So we'll see what those drivers do. As Lawson does leave the pits. And still nothing from Bortoleto. It's not looking good for Gabriel Bortoleto, I'd say. Not looking fantastic. So at the moment, if you assume, maybe wrongly, that both Cadillacs and both Astons are going to get knocked out, then who are the other two drivers? Who's, well, ooh. And if you assume Bortoletto's not going to make it through, who's the other driver? Maybe it'll be a Williams, which would be quite embarrassing. Right, Norris is going to finish his lap. No, sorry, Norris has done his lap. It's Piastri who's going to finish his lap. Let's see what Piastri does. Doesn't need to do anything too crazy here. Just get that lap in. 130 dead for Piastri. Definitely not super quick at all, but that'll get him safe. And Anthony second, 29.1. And now time to Russell, but Russell was half a second off Anthony and set to one alone. So I'm not expecting great things from Russell. In fact, it's not going to be a fantastic lap at all. Very, very poor lap. 30 dead for Russell. So he's almost a second off Kimi Antonelli. So George Russell is really, I just think, not having a good weekend. And again, that's not necessarily World Championship material. It's not what we expect of our World Champions, is it? Is Albon going to be doing a lap here? No, Albon will be starting his lap. 10 minutes to go in qualifying 1. Track is nicely busy. Alfonso, a second faster than Bottas. What happened to Albon? There was a big lock-up by Albon into turn 11. There's loads of runoff there, though. I imagine his power unit issues have been fixed at this point. With Russell, I'm not hearing anything with power unit issues anymore. I just wonder if maybe he's just a bit uncomfortable at this circuit, which you just can't afford to be if you want to be a world champion normally. Still no news from Bortoleto. There's a lot of drivers starting their flying laps. Liam Lawson going 6th at 129.9 in the RB. It's a pretty good lap from the RB. We're going to see what Alex Albon's been able to cook on this lap. I don't think the Sector 1 is too bad. I think Sector 1's actually okay. So, I think Albon could go very much in the middle here. Yeah, P10. Decent lap from Albon, 30.1. Remember, given that we don't think Bortoletto's actually going to get out of the pits, you just don't want to be the slowest car aside from the Astons and the Cadillacs here. That's the reality of it. Ocon just goes ahead of Lindblad. What about Carlos Sainz? Where will he be relative to Albon? Just behind. Half a tenth slower. Lance Stroll, 31.1. Maybe the Astons aren't going to be at the back, which would shake up everything. Behrman goes top, near the top, 129.3. BCR saying top 4 might not do any laps. Yeah, I don't think it's worth doing it unless you want to get some more practice in. I don't think they're at risk. Put it like this. I just wonder whether the cutoff is going to be at 29. What do you think, chat? Meanwhile, Bortoletto is in the Audi. Bortoletto sat in his Audi. Yeah, I just wonder if the cutoff's going to be a 29. Because it doesn't really matter what the Astons and the Cadillacs do. They're going to take up 4 of these positions. Looks like Bortoletto may take the last one. Maybe he won't now. But given that Lindblad's on a 30.3, I wonder if he might need to do a 29 here to be safe. Which would be interesting. Colapinto goes up into P9 with a 129.9. So at the moment, this drop zone is basically now looking exactly as I predict. And the final driver to get knocked out here at the moment is Lindblad on a 30.3. So Lindblad needs to improve. But if all the drivers around there improve to 120 to low 130s, like I said, maybe you need to get a 129 to be safe. That's my prediction. Now Norris and Piastri are circulating. Piastri is not safe in my opinion, by any stretch. Neither is George Russell. Right, Perez is going to box, I think. As is Bottas. So it's quite a few. No, Gasly's completed his lap, but Lando and Oscar are going to be starting their laps, I believe. Still can't see Bortoletto moving out of the pit lane, unfortunately for him. Looks like it's going to be extremely close there. Very, very, very close. Four and a half minutes to go. So I guess the McLarens are going to set some lap times here that should get them very much safe as the track becomes more rubbered in. Interestingly, Gasly stayed out. So that's an interesting strategy from Gasly. Not exactly sure what the strategy is, to be honest. Maybe it's a cooldown. Yeah, if it's going to happen for Bortoleto, it needs to happen pretty damn quick. Russell saying, do we need this lap? I'm sure it's obvious to you. I think Russell doesn't. Personally, I think Russell does need the lap. I think that lap could be vulnerable, to be honest. I wouldn't be quite so arrogant, George. Especially once we see them come in from Lando and Oscar. I mean, I reckon as long as they get him out with 2 minutes to spare, that might be enough. But it seems almost... He's coming out, I think. He might be coming out. Is Bortoleto on the... Bortoleto's on the move, everyone. Bortoleto's on the move. So, they are getting him out. They are getting him out. And what I was going to say is... Welcome, Yolanda Vestig. What I was going to say is that it's going to be very difficult for him to actually get a good lap in here. He's going to have one warm-up, and he's going to have to do a qualifying lap when everyone else has been going out of pace. So here we're going to see just how talented is Gabriel Bortoleto. Now, did Oscar Piastri just complete a lap? He did, and he went slower. So Piastri just went slower, 30.066. So that's not good news for Oscar Piastri. There's not much point in doing that. But are we also going to see the track conditions get worse, as we saw yesterday in sprint qualifying, as Russell goes 7th, 129.4, should be safe there. Track temp is 52.3, that's pretty much as hot as we've seen, but the air temp is as, this is the hottest we've seen so far, I believe, basically 34 degrees air temp. Welcome Colin Lack, good to see you. Don says, don't write off the car, yeah. Well, he's got to not write off the car, he's got to do a good out lap, and he's got to absolutely smash a qualifying lap when he hasn't done one yet. He's had no practice, but let's see how good Gabriel Bortoleto is going to be, because it's pretty extraordinary scenes from Audi, and I do think, I would think we can say absolutely fair play if they manage to get both the Audis into Q2. But Bortoleto seems to be going very slowly down the back straight, not sure why that is. There's a whole herd of cars here, but they need to sort themselves out. So they're probably going to queue on the last corner. Now, Lando Norris got in trouble for this yesterday. In fact, he should have got a penalty. But the stewards decided to let him off, given circumstances. Right, there goes Bortoleto. So keep an eye on Bortoleto's timing here. Yeah, Chai, I agree. I mean, to me it seemed obvious that George Russell did need that. Oh my goodness, it was carnage down the back straight. Bortoleto's weaving about and everything, and they're all jostling for position. It's going to be a mess now. Are they all going to make it? Are they all going to make it here? What's Hadjar doing? Hadjar's on a fast lap, where some of them are jostling. Russell's coming in. Antonelli's just done he's re-cemented pole. It was very, very, very messy there, I have to say. Very messy. Right, Colapinto's going to be finishing his lap, but he's got a black and white flag. He might have done something a bit naughty. And Colapinto goes P9, 129.5. Albon, P11, 129.7. So Lindblad is still the cutoff. All this is kind of irrelevant if Lindblad doesn't improve. And at the moment, it's not looking great for Lindblad, to be honest. But we'll see what Bortoleto can do. It's not looking good for Bortoleto. Bortoleto's not going to be anywhere close to getting through. So that hasn't really worked for Audi. It hasn't been a genius moment. Why is Oscar Piastri in P16, by the way? Well, he didn't improve, do you remember? And he's at risk. If Lindblad gets... Oh, he couldn't quite. So there we go. It's done. It's done. It's done. Doesn't matter about anyone else. It's done. So Oscar Piastri was very close to being knocked out there. Very close. He's a lucky, lucky, lucky boy. and it was a 30.1 in the end was the cutoff. So Piastri did, you didn't need a 29 to get in. It was a 30 dead that got you through. But we've lost Bortoleto, we've lost both Cadillacs as predicted, both Astons, and Arvid Lindblad was the other driver to get knocked out, get the wooden spoon. I think Bottas just pipped Perez. Hulkenberg quicker than Piastri. Yeah, Piastri must have made a mistake, surely, on that lap. But that is not world champion level behaviour, I would say. When you consider what Max was doing last season in qualifying sessions, which now we think back was pretty incredible to witness, right? Am I right on that? Gasly also a little bit lucky, not the best lap from Gasly. Claw says, what's happened with Oscar? Is Oscar Piastri just absolutely washed? I think it's a question we've got to be asking. But Piastri will live to fight another day. Zach Brown's been saying he's got the best driver lineup. Well, at this rate, if Max Verstappen does want to move, I think I know which driver you'd be keeping at McLaren. Gerline says, who do you think gets pole? I think Lando gets pole. Burger Buns, oh man, what have they done to the sport? Let us know. Let us know your opinion here. Jack said Bortoleto could have been sent around to comply with the 107% rule. I'm not sure that matters. He'd also participated in the sprint race. Oh, Bortoleto's brakes are on fire. Bortoleto's brakes are on fire. And I wonder if something was left in there. Because it seems to be left rear brake on fire. Either he's driven the car so damn hard, the brakes are on fire, or something was left in there. I'm going to guess something was left in there. And also, how many times are we seeing that in Formula 1 now, if that's the case? Baku with Alex Albon leaving that in the top vent. Melbourne with Kimi leaving in the side pod vent. And now Audi, that left brake suspiciously on fire, seems to me to indicate it being an assembly fault or something like that. Max in Australia. Yeah, what was the story with Max in Australia? Was it a tear-off or something? Welcome Dark Cloud as well. Welcome Sauro. Colin says, come on, Lando. Or someone's missing a shop rag. Exactly. I wonder if something's ended up in there. That left rear brake fire for Bortoleto. So he'll have nursed that back. Start of Q2 will be delayed, by the way. I wonder why that is. Unless a lot of stuff has been coming out of the Audi down that back straight. I'm not sure. Red Bull weren't cooling the Brembos correctly. Oh dear. Well, I was at Brands Hatch this week. It's crazy. I was at Brands Hatch this week, and today it's GT World Challenge at Brands Hatch on the same circuit. It's insane. I'm going to compare my lap times. I'm going to compare my cornering speeds. Life at OSK, is Max Verstappen winning? Rookie fan here. Max Verstappen is not winning, but no one's winning. It's qualifying. So you'll have to wait and see what happens at the Q1 incident involving cars Colapinto, Albon, Sainz, Bortoleto, Hamilton, Alfonso, Stroll, Norris, Hulkenberg, Piastri and Bottas noted will be investigated after the session. Yeah, maximum delta. It all became a mess at the end there. I wonder if some of those teams hadn't anticipated Bortoleto being there. How much does it cost to go on these track days? About £200 to get your slot in the pits or the garages or whatever, and then you got to pay for your fuel. And I did most of a tank at Brands Hatch, and you'll go through consumables like tires, brake pads, maybe fluids. Bro, everyone's getting a grid penalty. I think they might waive it. because it will be a bit of a farce. Ironically, I think Formula E would just give everyone a penalty there. Oh, Bortoleto came to a stop halfway down the back straight, so his brake could be extinguished. You've got a GTC VXR. What engine is in the GTC? Is that a 2-point something? They're the really wide ones, aren't they? They're quite wide. But the VXR, I think, has really good front brakes. Doesn't it have Brembo front brakes? So, I mean, has Max Verstappen improved? Max has been making some noises saying he's happier today. I'm not convinced, but even if Kimi qualifies top row, he'll probably drop back 5 spots off the start. Yeah, that's not even a penalty. That's just Kimi having terrible starts. 2 litre 290 bhp. Yeah, Brembos. I bet the rotors are expensive. I bet the rotors are £600 a pop or something. I've heard Lestrade will get replaced by Latifi. I think Latifi's done with racing, by the way. I think Latifi's retired. Bisha says, I feel Max is putting the car way above its level, while George does the reverse. Cadillac drivers walking back to the pits. I feel like they're just a meme team at this point. Maybe GM's got enough money to burn. £800 each, yeah. Good brakes though, so you don't need to upgrade your brakes. You don't have to worry about upgrading them, which is quite cool. Okay, George Russell's ready. Remember, Q2 was just going to be delayed a little bit. Just 3 minutes to go till start of Q2, but we might see cars queuing at the end of the pit lane, potentially. I would not be surprised. Remember here, it's only going to be the top 10 cars that go through. So we might have some big hitters who are knocked out at this stage. Looks hot in the grandstands, I can imagine. 34 degrees. Latifi is always open for a comeback, maybe this time for the title. Welcome Spaceman as well. I'd rather stick with Kireth community. Being able to ask questions and get great commentary is worth way more. That's how we roll here. That's how we roll. Welcome Life MSK. What's up with Lance's message? I think it's just a transcription error. MSK, is the car-to-car gap so much this season? Yeah, well, the car-to-car gap is... You could put Fangio in that Cadillac and have the rest of the field be Nicholas Latifi's, and I don't think that Cadillac's going to get on the front row. Sometimes I feel like with Formula 1, like the teams are so advanced, they're so competent, they're so well organised, they're so, like, way ahead of other companies, that the harder the technical regulations and more complicated technical regulations, the more of a challenge they see, the more pride they take in tackling that challenge, and then the whole sport loses sight of what it's really for. But I feel like the teams can be very proud, and probably are proud, of how well they're dealing with the regulations. But the whole thing's a nonsense, because the regulations just shouldn't be that complicated, because that just takes away from the fan experience. Okay, so we're going to see all the top 16 go out, including Nico Hülkenberg. So Hülkenberg is going to be out in Q2. Let's see whether we're going to get a Hülkenberg special, and maybe he'll actually sneak into Q3. Jimmy Fallon's at the circuit. Space on Kireth, how's driving your car at Brands Hatch? Is amazing. Yeah, it's really good. I need to look through all the footage. I've got the race logic footage from the V-Box. And we'll compare it to what I was doing in the sim. So I was doing some sim stuff before. We'll compare lap times versus the sim. But yeah, it was great. It was really good. It's a great circuit. I'm hitting all the curbs. The difference between me and I think every other driver there is that I'm just hitting every curb. And when I think back, I think that was a little bit silly. Like even Paddock Hill Bend, I'm running that curb on the outside on the way down, which is, I think, just not very sensible, because if you get that wrong, you're going to end up in the gravel. Like I'm centimeters from the gravel there, but obviously I want to run that curb. Or maybe that's the right way, because I personally think that's the right way to drive it. Is this season a more of who's got the best car rather than best driver? To an extent, every season's like that. But I would say what we've been talking about today is definitely along those lines. We're thinking, hang on, have McLaren made a big step up with their car? Does it cost money to like a stream video? No, it doesn't. 48 likes though, come on, we want to get to 100 likes. We want to get to 100 likes today. Let's get to 100. As we are now in Q2. Why is Lewis carrying the plastic curse? What's the plastic curse? What does that mean? Right, Hadjar's already going to be starting his lap. So it's only the Mercedes who haven't made a move yet, but they are actually making a move as well. They are on their way out as Hadjar starts his flying lap. So let's see who's going to be looking sharp here. Remember, if Oscar Piastri does what he did last round, he won't make it through in Q2. You should take Game Muscle track day. That actually is a great idea. That's a really good idea. Whereabouts does Game Muscle live in the country? Is he up, down, left, right? Or maybe I pick him up in London. Maybe I pick him up at Charing Cross in London. But then I'd probably have to let him drive my car, and that's quite risky. Next time you're in a Game Muscle stream, you've got to let him know. So that'd be great fun. I am doing, the whole point is I'm doing a sim racing track day in October at Castle Combe, where we booked the whole circuit out for sim races, and I think as soon as that website's live, the slots are going to be available, so that should be pretty cool. Who's got the GTC VXR? You should totally bring the GTC VXR there to the sim racing track day at Castle Combe. That's exactly why we designed it. Right, Hadjar finishing his lap now. Let's see. 28. Whoa! 28.9. 14th of October is the date in the UK at Castle Combe. I think it's a Wednesday. 28.9. Both for Verstappen and Hadjar. That's not bad by the Red Bulls. That's not bad at all. Have Red Bull been sandbagging? Hulkenberg 29.9. That may not cut it. I imagine that's not going to cut it, actually. Carlos Sainz 30.2. That's definitely not going to cut it, in my opinion. Yeah, check with the insurance. You can get track day insurance as well. Verstappen saying these tyres are terrible. They've got no grip. Cat just got the teeth on it. Lotus, I love it. Nice one. Hopefully use my creator code. I've got some more guides coming as well now. It's in stock. Leclerc 128.5. So Leclerc 128.5, but Hamilton 128.4. So Hamilton going faster than Charles Leclerc. And now let's see what the Mercedes do. Chai saying Hadjar doing pretty well in the Red Bull car. Yeah, pretty respectable by Hadjar there. Pretty respectable. Or Lando's pitting. Lando's aborted his lap. So aborted lap from Lando. I think the second sector, I think he made a mistake. Maybe he went deep at 11. I was going to predict something. Gasly 129.1. What about Colapinto? Faster than Gasly, 128.9. So I was saying fast times coming in hot. I'm thinking Mercedes know they've got upcoming reliabilities ahead here. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens with Antonelli and Russell. Antonelli's looking quick. Piastri goes P3, 28.9. So that's a much better lap, obviously, than what in Q1. But here comes Antonelli. I expect him to go fastest. Yeah, 28.3 for Kimi. And what about George Russell now? Could still be fast. No, goes third, 28.477. The exact same time as Lewis. The exact same time. Stretcher says Hamilton or Leclerc. Well, I've been backing Leclerc recently, but Lewis Hamilton there has out-qualified Leclerc. Welcome, Real Norris, aka JJ. Good to see you. Wish Hamilton would have stayed at Mercedes. Well, he's ahead of George Russell here, but it's exactly the same time, which is insane. When I'm sim racing or racing, and I do exactly the same time as someone else, my immediate thought is, damn, I should have beaten them. There's so many places that I could have just straightened the wheel out a little bit. There we go, member for 57 months. 57 months membership. Coming up to the big 6-0. Coming up to the big 6-0. The big old milestone. We love to see it. That is huge. 57 months, man. Wow. 57 months. Jesus, because 60 is 5 years, right? 60 is 5 years. You're coming up to 5 years. That's insane. Yeah, I know the badges are on my list. It's a long list. The badges are on there. I'm going to have a moment of admin where I'm going to just blitz all this admin. Welcome, McGurkin, as well. Anthony had a shredded week this morning. Kimi on pole. Well, no, he's not on pole. Kimi's provisionally fastest in Q2. So who's not getting through at this rate? Well, both Hasses, Hulkenberg, both Williams, and Lando aborted his lap. I do need to make new badges here. I need to find where my file is where I created these ones, because obviously it's not conceptually... Ah, my chocolate's melted. Ooh, my chocolate's melted. It's lonely Lando on circuit at the moment. Just Lando Norris. I think he'll be able to do his lap without any traffic as well. Because I imagine it's still going to be another minute or so before cars start coming out. So I don't think he's going to hit traffic. Hey, having to work while chatting. You just enjoy the stream. Just enjoy the stream. Enjoy what's happening with qualifying here in Miami as Lando Norris out on circuit on his own. Actually, sorry, he's already on his fastest lap. So a 30 dead in the first sector. As other cars are maybe going to start leaving the garage. Lando's going to set a lap here. We're going to get the 48 badge made and the 60. We're going to get them both made. Okay, Lando 33.7 second sector. So let's see where Lando slots in compared to Oscar Piastri. What's Lando going to do? Lando goes P9. P9 for Lando Norris. Remember, only the top 10 make it through here. So Lando's in big trouble here. Because I would assume Lando's definitely not safe by any stretch of the imagination. So Lando's going to have to do this in lap, put a fresh set on, get the right amount of fuel, and go out again. So it's going to be pretty tight for Lando, because it's going to be another minute at least for Lando to get to the pit entry. So it's going to be 3 minutes 30. He's going to spend at least I say a minute in the pit. Well, yeah, he's going to stack up and stuff. Watch out for Lando here. Did not expect P9 from him. No, me neither. Me neither. It's not looking good for Lando. Wonder if there's a problem for Lando Norris. Okay, see all the drivers coming out. The Lando lap time deleted. Was that earlier? That was earlier. That was his last one that was deleted. Due to track limits at turn 6. Lando is doing a double call lap, so he probably lost time due to excess fuel. Well, I'm not sure, but he's not doing a double call lap though, is he? We don't know he's doing a double call lap. No one knows what Lando's doing at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if Lando comes in to get a fresh set of tyres on. So let's see what Lando's going to do. There is a queue at the end of the pit lane, by the way. I mean, there's only 16 cars to worry about, but I do wonder whether we might have a traffic jam situation. No, well, to be fair, Lando's not coming in. So Lando is, yeah, doing another cooldown. He might slot in, actually, just behind Piastri. Maybe Hamilton's going to get there. So Antonelli's going to be starting his flying lap now, which does seem to be quite early for Antonelli to be doing that. And also, Antonelli is kind of probably safe. Not sure what the cutoff's going to be here. Cutoff maybe you'll need to do a 28. Maybe the driver getting knocked out will actually have done a 28. We'll see. Chat, let's do another nations chat while we see his laps come in. So make sure you put your country in the chat here. So wherever you're watching from in the world, put your country in the chat. There we go, Chai from Netherlands. Black Croatia. It's another front row lockout for the mods. It's another front row lockout for the mods. Huge. Jacqueline, Britain. High Ace, Jamaica. Martin, Netherlands. Kilrock, Netherlands. Elliot Van Ruin, South Africa. Shreeth, India. Scrap Iron, United States. Devon Moodley from South Africa. Okay. It's a pretty international mix so far. Keep them coming in. Keep them coming in. Put them in the chat. I'm expecting both Williams to get knocked out here. Jolanda Vestig from Netherlands. Philip Kritzinger from South Africa as well. Chowdhury from Pakistan. Let's see what Anthony does. Hayden from New Zealand. McGurk from UK. Anthony goes even faster. 28.2. So the Mercedes looking good as Piastri is going to start his flying lap now. Russell does not improve. 28.8. Ruby from Czech Republic. So what's Lando doing? So Lando's going to start now then. So Lando's going to start his flying lap now. A little bit of fresh air. Ocon starting his lap. Colapinto's just done his lap, has not improved. Carlos Sainz did get a 29.5, but I'm not sure that's going to cut it. That's half a second off Gasly in P10. Hadjar with a 28.9, that could be close. Verstappen goes fastest! Verstappen goes fastest, 128.1. Spaceman from Brazil, SJ from Iceland, Gabriel from Sydney early in the morning. Yash from India. Black says no one to back me up. We'll see. Maybe in the race. Ooh, oh no, I thought that was Lando getting an lap time deleted again. No. Let's see what Lando's saying. 30.2 Sector 1 is nothing that special, I have to say. That's slower than Nico Hülkenberg in P11. Lando 33.7 in Sector 2. That's better. That's definitely better in Sector 2. But let's see what happens in Sector 3. Ironically, Kimi will have been giving him a nice slipstream. So Lando needs a decent lap here. What's Lando going to do? 28.9. It's not incredible, to be honest. It's not incredible. However, I think it's probably going to be good enough. At the moment... Oh, Hülkenberg hasn't improved. So, yeah, there's no one actually now who can... Where's Albon? Yeah, Albon. Yeah, so we're done. We're done. We're done. So there's your bottom 6 drivers getting knocked out. Hülkenberg, Lawson, Behrman, Sainz, Ocon, and Albon. Those are your drivers getting knocked out there. Okay. So Verstappen, provisionally fastest, is going to be top 10 shootout next. That bodes well, doesn't it? Verstappen, Anthony, Leclerc, Piastri, Hamilton, Russell, Norris, Hadjar, Colapinto, and Gasly are our top 10. Great again from Alpine, getting into the top 10 shootout. And George Russell getting out-qualified by Antonelli, and ultimately Hamilton was out-qualified by Charles Leclerc. Chat, what time is the race tomorrow? Let me schedule for the race. Is it also 9 PM? I think it's also 9 PM, isn't it? 9 PM UK. In which case we go live. I think we go live at 8 PM. I think we do a full hour warm-up show. That's May the 3rd, isn't it? I think we go live at 8. It's done. Just scheduled it. Could Alpine be the clear 5th best team? I think so. I think you could be right there. Yeah, and Williams are just... What's going on at Williams, frankly? Did Williams miss their own memo that they're meant to massively improve this season? But yeah, so top 10 shootout. Let's see. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, everyone. It's not that I feel like anyone in the top 7 can get this done on pole, but I feel like Verstappen, Antonelli, Piastri, Russell, and Norris could get this done. I don't feel like the Ferraris are going to get pole. What does everyone else think? Anyone else think that the McLarens, the Mercedes, and Verstappen could get pole position? It's been a while since something like that's been a possibility. Yeah, Chai is very curious to see what Verstappen will do in Q3, as I am, as am I. Can he get it done? Bishar's cheering for Verstappen. Let us know who in the chat you're cheering for. Chai, I genuinely wonder what happened to Norris given the results of earlier afternoon. Given he's just won the sprint race today. Like, what's happening? Chowdhury says Verstappen for life. Not just for Christmas. But Vasil Diem says let's go Norris. Philip Crittinger hopes for the Red Bulls. Mainly Verstappen. As I mean, it'd be sensational if Hadjar did it. Scrap Iron Sporting signed. Do you want Sainz to go to a different team? And Mark van Dolewoord is watching from the Netherlands. Which is great. Jacqueline, I think Leclerc, Norris, Piastri, or Antonelli could secure pole. No Hamilton in there. And no Russell. Albon saying, "What a joke, man." Maybe Albon was held up by someone, or thinks he was. What was Leclerc up to? Did Leclerc get a track limit? Nope, just rode a bit of a curb. Chowdhury says 2 AM in Pakistan. I'm only staying up to watch the qualifiers. Most dedicated F1 fan in Pakistan, I'm hearing. That's Chowdhury. Scrap Iron, I like him at Williams. There seems something missing for them to figure it out. I think they need a new management team in there. I'm sorry, but the old team has had their time to get this right. Same thing for me for Aston Martin. I don't think they are almost there. I've got to be honest with you. They've got the Mercedes engine. Like, they should be much closer to Alpine at least. Rap for the Hood says almost 2 PM. Where's that then? Is that West? Is that West Coast? Oh, in Seattle. Yeah, in Seattle. Very nice. I'm thinking about whether to go to Taiwan for Computex. We'll see. And also, I need to confirm when I'm going to go to Charlotte or not for Sim Racing Expo USA. But honestly, I think it would be cool not to go. Ever Crazy Max was plus 3,500. Is that a betting thing? Is that a gaming thing? Jacqueline says, I think the investors of Williams need to put money into updating their facilities. I think they need a rethink at Williams completely. Mummy Cake Maker, Verstappen won. Well, hasn't won per se, but is in a good position. Is looking good. It's looking good. Red Bull have clearly got something working on that car. The car looks good as well, I have to say. The car looks really good. I love how they have such a unique... Well, maybe it is unique, I don't know, but like they have such a identity that they could craft out of nowhere, it seems. Specifically for F1. Q3 is underway, yeah, indeed. Q3 is underway. Are we going to see drivers head out immediately? Doesn't seem like there's a queue. There's no queue right now. Which is interesting. Maybe Williams needs a garage hype man. Yeah, I think maybe every team needs a hype man. Maybe Formula 1 needs to mandate that. Vishal P feel confident on Kimi over Russell Batshuka in pole. By the way, I also feel Red Bull still isn't the fastest car. When I look at starts to Max, he's won more races from not being on pole. It's a pretty crazy strat, that. Or stat. The extra minute they added for Q3, yeah. Now the cars are heading out. Rap, did you hear that Nacon Racing is going to show EMS? Yeah, I've heard. Not looped in on the EMS, which I find really weird because have I released my interview with the creator of that game? Because this time last year I went to Paris and I interviewed everyone. But I need to be better at, because I don't have an agent or anything. I need to be better at emailing people. Like I should have spoken with Logitech about maybe going to Miami and doing some stuff with their McLaren wheels. Like I think if I let them know that I can do that, then it might happen. And same with Nacon. I don't know exactly what they're doing because of whole Nacon's financial situation. Like Nacon is insolvent, so. But I'm working with Nacon on some other stuff that I can't talk about, which is quite cool. But yeah, EMS in particular, I'd like to know more about because it's It's quite a cool concept. I mean, I've driven EMS on a sim rig, for example. I thought I had released it. I've definitely edited it. Hang on a second. Oh, I've got my phone. I'm pretty sure if you search Endurance Motorsport Series on my channel, there should be a video that's released in the last couple of months. I'd be amazed if I didn't release it, because I know I edited it, but it's possible. Welcome, Ericsson. Okay, so Piastri and Norris starting their fast laps. This is it for Q3. Thanks, Mummy Cake Maker 73 for subscribing. I appreciate it. That's the optimal strat. Make sure to hit the like button as well. We want to get to 100 likes on this one. All the big guns that are in qualifying here. Wonder how often they change the brake pads in Formula 1 cars. I bet they don't really have pads. Mark's shooting for Verstappen. Well, let's see. I'm looking at Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. 30 dead for Piastri in Sector 1. So Piastri actually has the upper hand here on Norris so far. Both of them are quicker than the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. What about Hadjar as he comes out? Hadjar, not a fantastic Sector 1 in comparison either. And Verstappen Sector 2. What's Verstappen Sector 2 going to say? Well, actually, let's keep an eye back on Piastri now. So Oscar Piastri is going to go over the line. Is it going to be a 127? 128.6. So 128.6 from Piastri is not the fastest time we've seen today. And now Lando goes over the line. 128.1. It's almost a 27. So half a second in the end. Half a second. It's not even close. It's not even close. As Hadjar does a 128.7. Almost faster than Piastri. Verstappen goes fastest! Verstappen goes fastest! 128.1! Put your Max Verstappen emojis in the chat if you're surprised about that one. And Leclerc goes even faster! What, another 128.1 from Charles Leclerc? Goodness me! And Hamilton goes P4. This is insane! The top three all on 128.1s and probably not in the order we might expect. Because Charles Leclerc, what about the Mercedes? Hold on to your butts, everyone. What about the Mercedes here? What about the Mercedes? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. What about the Mercedes? Here comes Antonelli. P1 for Antonelli. There's a 127. 127.7. And what about George Russell? What will George Russell do here? Will he slot in P2? Oh, it's only P5. Brother, for George Russell. Wow. What a top 6 that is. What a top 7 that is. That's all mixed up. That's like you put them all as in a bag, shook them up, and drew them out one by one. Kimi Antonelli, P1, provisionally. 127.7. Charles Leclerc, qualifying master, P2, 128.1. Max Verstappen, P3, 128.1. Lando, P4, also 128.1. And George Russell, P5, 128.1. And Hamilton and Piastri couldn't get close. That's very interesting. And this is, I would dare I say, not great news for George Russell here. George Russell's being absolutely made to look silly by Kimi Antonelli. Chowdhury says it will be great to see Verstappen on pole again. He's well, it ain't looking like that, bud, at the moment, because he's in P3. So, but that's tantalising. And something that's been a bit of a character of this Miami circuit this weekend has been drivers not necessarily improving in their second laps. Vishal says Max Sector 2 and 3 is great. The car got speed on the straights. So maybe if you can work out Sector 1 through the twisty stuff. Chai says this is what we wanted yesterday. Yeah, this is more like it. This is more like it here. Jack says Antonelli is on another level. Billet, come on, Max, let's go. V-neck, gorgeous George was hampered by his hair flow. What's going wrong with George Russell right now? Right, the drivers are going to come in, get a new set of tyres, everyone. And they'll be thinking about little places they can improve. This feels like Formula 1. This feels like Formula 1 right now. Enjoy this, because you've got... Well, Kimi's just like well ahead. So you got the youngest driver who's well ahead, showing what's possible. Then you've got 4 absolutely huge drivers in Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Lando Norris and George Russell, separated by basically nothing, who will all be thinking now about that little moment, that little bit of power oversteer I had coming out of 12 or whatnot, or could I brake in a bit later? So this is as good as it gets, I would say, in Formula 1. Doesn't matter about super clipping or all that stuff right now. This feels like drivers versus drivers, which is what we want. It's what we want to see. Dark Cloud, great expectations versus reality. Well, this is great expectations with actually great... This is great. This is cool right now. This is... I like this. I like these seconds. These are good seconds. This is good anticipation. We're going to see what order they come out in. There's movement now. There's movement in the pits. Oh yeah, for George. For George for sure. Right, the Mercedes are out first. They're not messing around. They're not messing around at all. You know what's cool when I was at Brands Hatch? I had Rob from V-Box Motorsport with me. And he's like a pro, like just a pro at everything. And he was guiding me out the pits. Like exactly how they do in Formula 1. Because it was a busy pit lane. There were bikes and cars. And I was sharing a garage with like an absolutely insane, what looked like a BMW Z4 like GT4 or something with a massive wing on it. You'll see it in the videos. And so I didn't need to worry about checking my mirrors. He was just telling me when to come out and turn the wheel and go. Head out on circuit in the Peugeot. We got some great footage. We got some great slow-mo. You better believe I brought all the cameras. It'll be great if Max improves his Sector 1. By the way, that's all thanks to you watching. So make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the subscribe button right now. But also hit that like button. Because it's only if you do that, unfortunately, that the channel kind of pops up on people's radars. So it's always worth doing. It's worth the effort, trust me. How much time left? There's only 2 minutes to go. We're almost done. As the Red Bull... Whoa, what's happened with my map there? There's been some kind of earthquake. What's happened with the map? Okay, the map's gone tilted. The map's gone funny. Some kind of seismic event. I don't think Kimi was happy with George Russell trying to cut him up out of the pits. Holes have shifted. Did anyone feel that? Someone get the compass out. Okay, I'm going to reorient myself. I'm going to reorient myself because Oscar Piastri and, well, Russell's on the fast lap, 129.8 first sector. It's not purple. And he kind of needs to be going purple, but there's some purple minis sprinkled in there. Meanwhile, Kimi, no, Kimi's aborted. Kimi's aborted. Kimi is not going to set a lap time here. So maybe Kimi's done enough, but I think he's made some sort of mistake. Has Kimi maybe a track limit, knowing Kimi? Maybe a track limit for Kimi. What about Leclerc, 29.9? Decent, but George Russell's looking good with that first sector. 29.8. Hamilton and Leclerc, 29.9s in the first sector. So Russell is looking decent right now. Piastri, meanwhile, the McLaren's not looking so good. It's seeming like the Ferraris have got the upper hands here. So George Russell does not improve. George Russell doesn't improve, which has been a story of the weekend. 128.3 from Russell. There's no improvement. No improvement. Okay, Oscar Piastri now. Will Piastri improve? No. Well, yes, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't get in a better position. 128.5 for Piastri. He's not going to finish any higher than P7. What about Lando? Lando does not improve. Again, we've seen this all weekend. Drivers are not improving. Maybe crosswind down the back straight or something. What about Charles Leclerc? Does not improve. So Kimi is probably going to win this by default. Lewis Hamilton comes through. Is that going to be a no, he does improve, but doesn't gain a position. And that's basically it. That's basically it. There'll be some scrapping for the dregs of the positions behind. But it is Kimi Antonelli. He is on pole. It is a monster lap. He's absolutely obliterated George Russell there. So Kimi starts on pole. However, we saw what happened last time. But Kimi starts on pole. Charles Leclerc in P2 surely is the favourite, given that P2 is on the inside of the track. Surely Charles Leclerc is a favourite to lead the Grand Prix tomorrow, early doors. Verstappen's in P3. Remember, if Kimi has a poor start, Verstappen might be in a great position. Lando's in P4. George Russell P5, Hamilton P6, Piastri P7, Kolipin P8, Hadjar P9, Gasly P10. Oh, did I call that wrong? I think I missed it. I think that while I was doing that, Verstappen sneak in a lap there right at the end and get another 27. I think I did. I think I miscalled that. I think Verstappen P2. I think Verstappen P2. Which is very interesting because now Verstappen's on the inside for the race start. So Verstappen's on the inside. Look at Mercedes all clapping in like it's like the Politburo there. Verstappen's on the inside there. So if Verstappen gets a great start, he could be looking good. And also Leclerc is now starting P3, so he's starting right behind Kimi. Chai says, well done, Max. Yeah, but Michel was calling it. Verstappen was still improving. He might have been in my blind spot on the map there. Okay. Okay, so that's very interesting. That's very interesting. That's quite spicy for the race tomorrow. I can't call the race tomorrow, and there will be some strategy. And I think there may be some weather as well. There may be some weather, which is going to be very, very, very interesting. VNet saying Max. Hamza, Max finally back at podium. Don Barracuda saying Max Factor. Yeah, Max is back there. Max. Ultimately, Max was only 2/10 off Kimi. So the rest of the grid should be very, very, very afraid. Very afraid of that. That's ominous. That's ominous. Max is back. Looks like there's more investigations, by the way, on failing to follow the race direction instructions. However, I'm not sure that that's going to be acted upon. What was going on with Piastri here? Oh my goodness, Piastri had a huge mistake into turn 1. Presumably on his flying lap, so Piastri just hasn't got it hooked up either. Yolanda Vestige's happy about it. Philip, is going to be a good race. The start is going to be very interesting. I agree. I agree. Who's going to have good race pace here? If someone can work out the race pace... Can we say Max is back? I think we can say Max is back. P2 here. Max is faster than Charles Leclerc, both McLarens, and George Russell. Yeah, it was a close box release between Kimi and George. I don't think Kimi was too happy about it. Well, we'll have to see tomorrow whether Max is back. So... Gasly not happy about his weighing for some reason. Right, I'm going to be back tomorrow. I think we're going to be live 8 p.m. UK time is the plan for the Grand Prix. Can now just look at reach out if Red Bull further improves. The car could get back, yeah. Well, we saw Max versus Kimi in Red Bull Ring last year, if anyone remembers that. If anyone remembers that. But yeah, chat, I'm going to end it there, actually. I'm going to end it there because I'm excited for tomorrow. So the stream is live for tomorrow. It should, when I end this one, it should take you to that page. So feel free to let it do that. Make sure you hit the like button there. And that's where we'll be for tomorrow for the race. Which, fingers crossed, is going to be much more exciting than the sprint race. I am optimistic. Thanks, Chai. Thanks, Yolanda. Thanks, Vlatka, all of the mods, everyone in the chat. Thank you for joining us here. And I will see you tomorrow, hopefully,